Hi, my name is Shanae Aurora Martinez. I use they, she pronouns. I am an assistant professor of indigenous literatures in the English department at CalPoly in San Luis Obispo. I was hired as part of the university-wide diversity cluster hire to bring my knowledge about indigenous literatures and decolonial praxis to CalPoly. My decolonial praxis is a way in which I examine colonization as a process and, in part, ways that we might envision decolonization as a process as well. So this extends beyond my classroom context, and it's part of my service and my community work and my research. When the genocide began to ramp up in 2024, I attended two pro-Palestine protests to bring attention to Cal Poly's investments in weapons manufacturing and recruitment of our engineering students to create weapons that perpetuated the genocide in Palestine. My involvement in these two protests, one in January 2024 and one in May 2024, was deemed unprofessional in June 2024. It took about 6 months for the university to bring charges against me, and those charges of unprofessionalism were confounding considering the fact that I was hired for my expertise in Indigenous literature and decolonial praxis. My participation in these two protests was in support of students. And so I attended not only to support them in their efforts at truth telling about Cal Poly's complicity in Palestinian genocide, but also to support them in their communications, communicating their demands between police and administrators. Increasing communications at these protests was considered not only unprofessional, but was considered an offense to the university, wherein they attempted to suspend me and deny me 8 months of my pay. 2 quarters at Cal Poly is equivalent to 8 months of my income. I was able to demonstrate that I was actually there in support of students and that it was part of my professional and ethical obligation to support students as they speak their truth and participate in civic engagement. And I was able to have my suspension reduced from 8 months to 1 month. I think what some administrators have tried to argue is that those of us who study these fields are leading students to break laws or violate university policies or otherwise get involved in calling out those who are abusing their power because of the faculty who are present. And that's just simply not true. Our presence is not only to inform them of their histories, their rights, their power in their own positionalities, and how to wield that power when they leave the university, but also to support students who are concerned about the lives of others or concerned about those in their communities. And so every major social justice movement has been led by young people. And it's important to recognize that when faculty or staff become involved in these actions, we're there to support students. We're there to support young people. They are our future. They see themselves in the world that is unfolding, and they want to be a part of creating that world. And so I'm always there following their lead. I was not there to encourage them to do anything that they were uncomfortable with. And those who were reviewing my case were able to recognize that this was a student-led effort, and I was fulfilling my role professionally of supporting students in their efforts to stop the genocide in Palestine. I think what's important is the administrators aren't listening to students, right? The students are leading us, and the faculty who have the closest relationships with them are listening to students and following their lead. But administrators who aren't in the classroom, who aren't seeing our students as whole people, but rather as enrollment numbers, are not actually listening to them. And so they don't recognize that students are leading. They don't recognize that we are following the lead of students because young people have the clearest vision for how to end this genocide and how to realize a more just society that they want to exist in. And so we need to listen to young people and we need to listen to students.